All right, guys. Our next guest defends his title against Brian Ortega next weekend at UFC 260. When he's not setting history in the octagon, he's writing books and now creating his Cooking with Volk videos that have included the classic lamb souvlaki and Macedonian-style chicken wings. The master chef of the UFC joins us back on Submission Radio with a fresh hot coffee and a pretty epic beard, I must say. Alexander the Great Volkanovski, welcome back, man. How are you?
I'm very good, mate. Very good. Master Chef, how good's that? I love it. I've got so many nicknames, man.
Who wants to be a double champ when you could be the master chef of the UFC?
Oh, mate. There's so many. They got Chef Volk, got Footy Volk, we've got Champ Volk. Mate, you don't want to know Footy Volk, though. Let me just tell you that. You don't want to know Footy Volk.
Why? Why is that?
He likes to party, old Footy Volk. That's what... We'll leave it at that.
Footy Volk would be drinking a shoey right now, not a coffee, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Amongst other things. All right, so you're in Vegas already, and I was wondering, man, how's the fight camp now that it's in the books? It's officially done now. How did this one go?
Well, it's not officially done because we're here early because the Brad fight's this weekend. Mm-hmm. So we're here to corner him. Like, we've got some of the boys just to help out fight week here because some of the boys at New Zealand couldn't be here, obviously with the vouchers and the problems that they got to go through. We decided to come a week early and have a big crew like that and just finish our last week of camp here and then have fight week ourselves here. But, mate, camp's been incredible, man. It really has. Obviously, we're going to say that every time, right? We're going to say, oh, yeah, we're in good nick. We're going to carry on and talk ourselves up every time. But, mate, honestly, it's hard for me to keep my shirt on right now because I'm leaner than ever, fitter than ever. So it's, man, you can tell. You can look at me and you can see that, watch me train or even just see me with the shirt off. You can tell that I've had I put the work in and camp's gone well. So, mate, like, I'm just nothing but high spirits, feeling good, and cannot wait to get in there and do my thing, man, because I'm in good nick.
If you want to take your shirt off, that's quite all right. But if not, we can see it in your face. You look very lean, the cheekbones and everything and the cheeks. I was wondering, what was it like, not really having Eugene and the CKB boys in that camp? And also, what is it going to be like for you come fight night where, like you mentioned, Eugene isn't going to be there because of the vouchers and stuff like that? How's that going to work for you?
Yeah, man, look, it's obviously, it's good to have the whole crew here, the normal crew we all have. But at the end of the day, the boys put so much work into us and fine-tune us that well that we know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, so that's fine. But it was good during camp. Like, we still obviously had our Zoom chats and all that type of stuff. You'd be surprised with the details you can get through Zoom, you know what I mean? The boys are getting the cameras out and they're like just showing you, they're getting right into detail, probably more detail than they would when I was in front of them because they're there and they're doing more videotape. Then I don't know, just the way they can break it down on video, and I guess they just go into more detail. Just to, I guess, the fact that I'm not there, they want to do that little bit more. I don't know what it is. So it's been good, mate. It really has. But I mean, camp's been unreal. Joe's been doing a great job to get me and Nick, and did a good job to get the boys to head over and help, like, what boys we could to train and that. So we had some good bodies to move around with. But again, come fight time, I know what to do. I'm in good nick. Even just everything that Eugene and the boys over there were sort of like saying to touch on, we've been working on before. They even sort of made their own game plan of what we thought we should do. Like, we're all on the same page. So it's, man, we're just, everything's going good, man. Everything's going good.
Joe Lopez is over there with you?
Joe Lopez is here, yep. So we're with Brad. So Brad's next door. We've got a good crew here. We've got Frank Hickman. So Frank Hickman's usually in the corner as well. We'll have Brad because Brad fights this weekend, then he'll still be in the corner. So we're still going to have most of the similar faces in the corner. But again, man, the boys have taught me well. Everyone has. So I know the game pretty good. So I'm going to be all right out there.
We're talking about training camps, and it's really good to see this one went really well. It's funny when you mention, though, like, I always say that it goes good because we've had some conversations with you in the past, haven't we, where you've told us, oh, training camp has gone good. And then afterwards you're like, oh, I had 20 broken knees and 5 broken backs. And I couldn't walk up the flight of stairs. I'm just wondering, because you look great right now, but what was the worst training camp that you've ever had leading into a fight? Like, what was the worst injury you can remember where you're walking into the cage going, man, this is going to be a bit of a stretch?
Oh, well, going into the cage, was definitely Darren Elkins when I tore my intercostal muscle 2 days before the fight. So that's full on. Like, you can't even move. I don't know if you've ever, like, if you've broke a rib or tore your rib cartilage and all that. Like, this ain't just like a little bruised rib, or this is a proper tear in there. Like, you cannot move. As soon as them ribs move a little bit, mate, agonizing pain. So you can imagine, like, you can't even breathe properly. And then 2 days out, I remember like thinking, like, I'm laying in bed because doing my head in, because I'm like, how am I going to fight? I can't move. I'm still waterloaded, so I need to get up to go to. I can't even get up. Like, it's taking me 5 minutes just to get up, so I can go to the toilet. Like, that's how much pain you're in. I remember crying, thinking, man, I spent 6 weeks away from the family, and I'm probably not going to fight. That's sort of, I couldn't move, so I literally was thinking that. But the UFC doctors and that said, look, we can't give you a cortisone shot because it's in the muscle, and they'll probably pull you from the fight. But we can give you some anti-inflammatories, and that's some strong anti-inflammatories. We might get you the pain. We might be able to half the pain, and then pretty much just said adrenaline's a beautiful thing, so you can rely on that. So it's up to you. I'm like, well, all right, let's just do it. Let's take it on. So I just remember each day did get a little bit better, but I couldn't even hit the pads before the fight. I couldn't throw a right hand because it was still hurting my rib. And so we weren't avoiding that. So we literally had to wait till the adrenaline started kicking in before I could actually start throwing bombs. But it did work. They were right. The adrenaline did help a little. But, I mean, it was on my mind the whole time. So I made a couple of funny decisions because of it. But in saying that, we still look good out there, still did what we had to do. So it doesn't matter. But that's probably the worst. But we've had some bad camps, man. I'll be honest with you. We've had some bad camps. I've only had, done next to nothing for 14 weeks and then only had 6 weeks to prepare for big fights. But I mean, this camp, we all good.
There was that one where you were the backup fighter, but you got stuck at the border and you had to drive over while you were doing the weight cut. Remember that one? And then you're like, maybe it's good that I didn't get the title shot at this point.
We actually been talking about that the last couple of days here, man. Honestly, lucky I didn't fight that day because I was in terrible nick, man. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I was still reasonably fit, but I only got told about that I was going to do that like a few weeks before. The weight cut was bad. The travel was horrendous. Like, I mean, horrendous. I remember, like, mate, my body couldn't move. Like, so my back was as stiff as a board. I was seeing Heather from the UFC, the physio, every day, thinking, like, I hope she can loosen me up because I cannot move right now. But and then the weight cut was a savage one. So I was sitting there thinking, like, because I get paid. If I'll make weight, I get paid. I'm like, all right, I get paid at least. But, man, I hope no one pulls out because I don't think I'm ready for this.
Yeah, that was.
I'm a confident man. But I was like, fuck, I'm pretty underdone right now. I don't think this would be a good idea. So let's hope, fingers crossed, the boys go out there, do their thing, and I can fight them later down the track. And that's exactly what happened.
That's it. And the title shot came at much better circumstances. Just quickly, I'm wondering, like, with this kind of adjusted training camp where you don't have Eugene and the guys there, you got to kind of take lessons from wherever you can. I'm wondering what you sort of took away from Israel's fight against Jan Blachowicz. How much you sort of watched that one and just what you thought of that fight in general. It was it's not very often the CK boys, CKB boys don't get things their way.
Yeah, man. Look, this is a fight game, and obviously it was always going to be a big ass moving up, and then knowing that Izzy made it pretty vocal. He was vocal about not putting on muscle, not putting, he's still a middleweight, not that big of a middleweight too, to be quite honest, and still stepped up. So good on him for taking that challenge. But you obviously seen once Jan was on top of him that, it was a bit harder for him to get up. But I still thought he was doing good. Like, I really did. I thought he was, I thought he was doing really well. I thought he looked good on the feet. He stopped a couple of takedowns early, and I was like, yeah, bring on them takedowns. I feel like that was going to tire Jan even more. But obviously, heat of the moment in the exchanges, Jan did well to just shoot real deep and just penetrate a lot more than the previous takedowns and got him down. So good on Jan. Obviously Jan did a great job and showed that Polish power double, like a Polish power double. But yeah, good on him. But I mean, look, man, Izzy's in high spirits. All the boys are in high spirits. they're just ready to. They're back in the gym, or like back training. Sorry, they're in quarantine, but back training. They're back at the gym like when they were still here. I remember the boys were just saying they're in high spirits, so they didn't let them knock them down. Hey, move forward. Stay positive and move forward. That's what you got to do. That's what professionals do, and mate, that's what's got to be done.
And it was a super close fight as well. And with the difference between those two weight classes, I mean, middleweight to light heavyweight, it's just crazy. It's one of those weight class differences where you really got to there should be an in-between weight class, really. I'm wondering, though, when you look at that and you think about your future, I know you've mentioned to us one day you're looking to move up to the maybe lightweight, maybe even higher. Did you take any lessons from that? Whereas it's kind of like putting on weight, maybe doing something different, if you ever do move up in weight class yourself?
No, I don't look at that fight. Just again, we're totally different styles. Yeah, we're totally different body types. I'm a featherweight. Yeah, people say I'm pretty small for a featherweight, but I still cut some weight. Like I'm still a pretty heavy set type of dude because I'm full of muscle, and I'm strong. I'm really strong. So like I've got, mate, I'm telling you, I've got that welterweight, middleweight type of strength. You know what I mean? It's, I'm just talking myself up here, but I mean, you get anyone that's trained with me and they talk about, for my size, the power I have, the strength I have. So I don't think being overpowered and someone being able to throw me around in lightweight would happen. Obviously, you've got guys like Khabib who's just next level when it comes to grappling, but I'm one man to hold down. So, you know what I mean? Like that's something that interests me. But again, I've got the featherweight division to worry about. But, man, I'll tell you what, again, I'm not a cocky type, but I'm very confident in myself, and I know I've got the skills to really do well in the lightweight division, even against the best. So time will tell. But again, that's definitely a goal of mine. But right now, I'm just going to prove myself, be the GOAT featherweight division. I don't think we're too far away from that. I want to have a busy year and prove myself to the world and show them that I am the best featherweight and the best featherweight there ever was. So, I've got a job. I've got some work to do, and I'll do that this year. But hey, even later this year or early next year, that lightweight division, I got my eye on them.
And I was always wondering, Alex, when it comes to weight cuts for this division, I've always wondered, how much do you usually cut?
Well, again, this is probably a lot. As we said, I'm pretty good, Nick, right now. I'm pretty lean, so I've lost a lot of fat. I'm still holding a bit of muscle, but I'm at a good weight. So I'm still about, what am I now? So I'm about 72. I'm in the 72s at the moment. Still a bit of time. We wanted to be 72 fight weeks. So I'm already there. And mate, I'm sometimes around this time I could be 75. I could be 74, 75 kilograms. So. That just shows you that I'm like free 2 or 3 kilos ahead of a schedule, So again, I still, even to make lightweight right now, I'd still need to cut a couple of kilos. So that just shows you where I'm at, in between camps and that, in between fights, off season, I'm usually around 78 is probably a good number. So it just shows you that I'm still a pretty heavy set type of guy. But, again, I'm pretty short for the divisions, but in saying that, I know how to use my height and my body shape, my body type very well. So I use these short legs very well. I know how to use them. Short legs, them gorilla arms, mate.
I was going to say, the fact that you're sort of extra lean, more shredded, is that anything to do with specifically preparing for Brian, and just sort of, I guess, how you've structured the camp in terms of how you think the fight will play out?
Oh no, it's just everything, man. With nutrition, I've got Jordy on board. I've always had him on board, but I tend to, my cheat meals were always a bit bigger than they should be. But I didn't do that this time. This time I was just like, all right, I'll just have a good feed, still do my cooking with Volk, get my cooking in there. But I'll be happy with the meals, like not being too crazy. I'd get, mate, I'm telling you, kilos of chocolate, you name it. I would absolutely smash the sweets as well.
Macedonian.
Exactly. No, not really. Even in training camp, I'd still do that on the weekends. I'd go nuts and then diet all the weight. So I'll lose weight during the week and then I'll go crazy on the weekend. And again, I think that played a big part in me not getting as low maybe, where now I was like, all right, I didn't go too crazy and just training hard. Man, I'm fitter than probably ever as well. Again, I got a lot of respect for Ortega, so he's going to have the best Volk out there. But, I train hard for no matter who's in front of me, but maybe the haters as well, getting them haters and the doubters, using that as fuel, man. Like, I love it, man. Let them say what they want. I'm going to use it as fuel. Again, take a negative and, turn it into a positive. I do that very well, always have. So there's people that they want to knock me. They're just going to make me work hard, and I love it.
Just quickly on those haters, do you feel like you're a bit of an underappreciated champion? I feel like it stems from the fact that people just loved Max Holloway, and because those fights were so close, people kind of almost took it out on you.
Yeah, man. Look, it's no doubt. It's pretty obvious. But again, obviously, we've still got a lot of support, got the backing of Australia and everyone back home, and obviously still plenty of people around the world. But Max he's a cool dude, and he's had a big fan base. He worked on that fan base, made the UFC as well. Like, they've been pushing him for a while. It took him a while to get to that stage. He was still in a similar position to me, but over time and winning. Hey, remember, people just remember winning, and he did that for a long time, and people got to really understand him and see how he is and appreciate. Like, he's he's a pretty humble dude and respectful type of guy. And the more you get to meet someone, the more you understand him and like him. So he had that time. And hey, I'm still new this. I go and then take their poster boy out, and they ain't happy. So I understand that, I get it. But I mean, again, time will heal that. I know. I believe my skills. I know I'm going to keep winning. Again, people remember the winners, and again, just put a camera in my face, or people see me more, they'll begin to love me. So they'll jump on the train sooner or later. But right now, it's still early. But again, we've got Ortega to take out. Again, new challenge. Looking forward to it. But again, I'm pretty confident I'm going to go out there and do that. A lot of people jump on board after this one because I'm planning on really putting on performance and setting a statement as well. Like, really, man, again, he's tough. I know he's tough. He's durable. But, man, I just think the nick I'm in right now, like, no one can keep up. I really do. So I think I'm going to break him in the earlier rounds, and then I'll be able to get that finish. That's my goal. But, hey, you never know. Again, he's durable, but I want to finish. I do want that finish.
I want to talk about Brian in just a sec, but while we're on Max, Alex, I'm just wondering if you guys ever do end up fighting for a third time, because fans are calling for the third fight eventually down the line. Would it be a situation where you want to sort of put a full stop to this thing by possibly doing something that no one has really been able to do and stop him in that octagon, or are you just happy just to sort of go out there and sort of just win it however it comes? Because I suppose you've already beaten him twice, right? So you've already achieved that. So would the new goal for you be to pull something off crazy in that octagon if you guys did fight for a third time, to put a full stop to this rivalry?
Yeah, man. Look, obviously a finish over anybody is always going to be good. You know what I mean? And again, fighting guys like Max, he doesn't get finished. You know what I mean? Like, he's been good, but can he be finished? Of course he can. But that will be a goal of mine if we were to ever do it. But at the same time, you've got to play what's in front of you as well. You know what I mean? When you've got guys playing like chess, you know what I mean? This is chess, not checkers, and you got to do what you got to do. But at the same time, everyone wants that finish. Everyone's looking for that finish, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. And you know what I mean? When you're facing guys that are really durable and known for their chin, and having them back to back, and again, Ortega, another guy known for his chin. But I see more weakness in the gas tank, where again he's still got a good gas tank, but I just believe mine is just superior, too much ahead when it comes to the gas tank, and I believe that he will slow down and there will be a lot of opportunities, and that's where I can get the finish. But again, no matter who's in front of me, obviously we always want the finish, but you just got to play what's in front of you at the same time.
Of course. And speaking of the Brian fight, I'm wondering, when you're speaking to your coaches, Joe Lopez and Eugene Bareman, what do they think Brian's game plan will be to try and deal with the pressure and the speed and the power that you're going to bring to this fight?
Oh, man, look, we're pretty certain of what he will do. I won't give too much away. But, yeah, again, when it comes to the pace and that, I guarantee he's training hard. I guarantee he's fit. I guarantee he's knowing that, I'm going to put a pace. I'm going to be fit enough to deal with it. But it's different when I'm in front of you, man. It really is. And everyone that's been in the gym with me knows that. So, they know that, look, I don't care how hard he's training. We just don't believe that he'll be able to keep up. You know what I mean? And again, man, this is just talk, right? This is just talk, me talking it up. But the beauty of it, we're in the fight game, and I get to prove it in a couple of weeks, or less than a couple of weeks. So that's one good thing about it. But at the same time, there's a couple of things that we're pretty confident he will do. I can't give it away because some of them are sort of again, like if I was to tell you as a break it down, like you might be like, oh well, yeah, but so I can't give too much away. I'll leave it at that.
That's all right.
Before I'm about to keep going, and I'm going to end up fucking spinning it out. But,
Brian, watching this interview, taking notes.
The coaches would kill me, but again, like we're pretty confident we know how he will, and again, with things that we think he will do. When I'm in front of you and then you're fighting my fight, I've got you panicking in there. I've got you stressing in there. It's going to be hard for you to do what you think you want to do. You are going to go back to, habits that you've always done. You know what I mean? You're going to go back to, there's things that we do naturally and, in the heat of the moment when we're broken and you know what I mean? You are going to do what you've always done. It's instinct's going to like sort of kick in and things like that. So, again, you could say what you want, but I mean, once you start breaking and once you start fatiguing, once you start stressing, all them game plans and all them things go out the window. But that's why you got to put yourself in the gym in a position where, that can't happen. I will never be in a position where I'm too broken to stick to what I got to stick to because I'm always in good enough nick. So I always got a clear head in there. I'm always composed and no one's going to break that on me. So I just don't believe anyone can do that when I'm in front of them.
How competitive do you think the striking will be sort of in the early rounds between you and Brian? I know people are very high on his striking after the Korean Zombie fight, but I'm wondering, before, like if your game plan is to sort of tire him out and pressure him before that happens, how competitive do you think he can be in the striking department with you?
Everyone's dangerous early. Everyone's eager early. Everyone's fighting their fight early. You get what I mean? It's everyone's good early. Everyone's good early. So I've got to obviously be careful. You've got to be sharp. You've got to be on top of it. I'm obviously going to put the pressure, but I can't be silly at the same time. But again, when you talk about, like people keep saying, he looked great against Zombie. He did. But I mean, you've probably heard me say things like this a fair bit where it's the people in front, you know what I mean? Like I think Zombie let him look really good as well, you know what I mean? Played a part in him looking so good. I think there's a lot of things that Zombie could have done to nullify what Ortega was doing, or even if he just did a little bit more, or he, again, like there's no point going into detail, but I believe that Zombie played a big part in why Ortega was able to just look so composed and just do what he did. Let him just pick his shots, take his time. Mate, he showed a different. A complete different style of fighting, or he was so much more patient, shot selections. He fought at a distance patiently. He got to just set up what he wanted. But you get what I'm trying to say? Like these are things that I feel Zombie let him do. Like if you're just going to sort of stand there and just wait and let who's that? Is that you?
Is that Brian Ortega? No.
Frankie tried. But again,
Brian's Alex, you want a coffee? What do you want?
Wait, sorry, you're working game plan?
The wall collapses. Everyone's standing in front of this whole coach.
But again, Zombie just sat back and he was hesitating. He wasn't, even when he got in the pocket, he was freezing and things like that. Again, I feel like Ortega played a part in that as well. But, I ain't going to do that. When I'm in front of you, come on, like, let's be realistic. You've seen me fight the last few times. If you're expecting Ortega to look like how we did against Zombie, you're in for a rude shock. And again, anyone that knows the game will know that's not how the fight's going to go. Does it mean he's not dangerous? No, it doesn't. I just believe he's going to be dangerous in other things, but he will not be able to just do what he wants in the octagon with me. I can guarantee you that.
We know you're always looking for a finish, but what would be sweeter to you, getting the TKO KO or submitting someone who's considered one of the best grapplers in the division?
Mate, well, if you've noticed a lot of my fights, I've beat a lot of people at their game. And there's something about that. Like, some people might not take notice, but I do. I love when people try and tell me that you can't do this, and I love going out there and doing it. But again, it's like even guys like earlier in my career when I'd fight grinders, people that are known for grinding, and I'll grind them out and break them. Then you've got grapplers. Like I remember Jeremy Kennedy, grappler, saying he's the best MMA grappler in the UFC. Go out there and absolutely ground the pound shit out of him finishing the second round just by literally punching his head through the canvas where he was saying he would do that to me. So I took him out. Even Chad Mendes, obviously I didn't out wrestle him, but I was even saying that I'm going to use his wrestling against him. He's going to tie. Even if he gets the takedown, I'm getting straight back up. I'm going to put that pressure on him, you know what I mean? So I was using their strengths against them and things like that. And even with Aldo, how's he going to do this leg kicks? How, you know what I mean? Like, how's he going to deal with the stand-up? Go out there and outstrike Aldo, go out there and absolutely shut him down. Leg kick the shit out of Aldo. Who does that? You know what I mean? Aldo's known for leg kicking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So things like that. And then Max, going out there and outstriking Max, again, he's known for volume. Out volume striking Max as well. People saying he can't stand with him, things like that, and going out there and outstriking him and beating him on the feet. You know what I mean? It's something about that, going out there and doing that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are going to notice that. A lot of people are like, fuck, I did not expect that. That's impressive. But there's something about it. Like for me, it's a challenge that I have in my head. And even Ortega, obviously everyone literally thinks you cannot go to the ground with this guy. Like literally, they try and tell you like even he says like he doesn't even train wrestling because his jiu-jitsu is that good. Which, again, I'm not going to play jiu-jitsu with him. You know what I mean? I'm not going to give much away. Like, that's obvious. I ain't playing jiu-jitsu. We all know that. But does that mean I can't go anywhere near the ground with him? No, it doesn't. So I'll leave it at that. But, I mean, at the same time, if I was to get him there on the ground and get a submission, mate, that'd be great. You know what I mean? Would I bet on it? Maybe not the submission. But, hey, the thing is when you break someone, and that's what I plan on doing, mate, the submissions can definitely come. But again, that's his world. That's somewhere where he's broken, he's tired, he's been there. Remember I told you about the natural instincts. Even when you're completely broken, he's been there a million times. That's his world. That's where he could be half knocked out. His body's going to know what to do down there because he's been there a million times. So, again, that's what I mean by when you're that tired, again, my power, my strength will overpower even his technique, especially while he's broken. But, again, I still feel like he can be dangerous even when I feel like I'm having my way with him. He still can be dangerous. He can still wrap that neck up if I slip up. So, again, you got to respect that. And I respect Ortega's ground game. I respect his stand-up as well. But, again, I just think I'm too much levels ahead. And, again, entire time will tell, and I get to prove myself again in less than a couple of weeks.
It's fascinating. It's good points, especially about, him having the instincts even when he's tired. It's good hearing you analyze this, even though you can't reveal the game plan. And obviously you're showing, Brian, a ton of respect here. You mentioned Max before. I want to ask you just something quick about him. He mentioned to Mike Heck of MMA Fighting that he feels like he's the cloud hanging over this fight. And I guess when you're looking at, next contenders and stuff, Max is definitely up there, if not the next one. Do you feel that at all? Do you feel this notion that he's talking about of him hanging over this fight?
I don't even know what that means, to be honest. I did see it say the cloud over the fight. I didn't get it. Do you understand what he means by that?
He's going to be floating over the octagon and just looking down and he goes, no, I think it's like, I think he feels like he's a big part of the narrative that theoretically the winner of this fight has to face him next, which I guess makes things interesting for you because you guys have already fought 2 times. And then it's, I wouldn't say controversial if you fought a 3rd time, but it'd be, I remember you said to us once, you were kind of like, are they going to keep giving him title shots until he wins? Having said that, he just had a good win. So it's a weird one.
Yeah, look, it is a weird one. And, you've got to feel for Max being in that position. But, I mean, think of how many people have been in that position and never got that chance again. How many people have been in that position and never got that chance again? But, I mean, at the same time, do I think that fight will never happen? No, I think, look, that fight is always going to be there. It's always going to be a big fight too. There's a lot of people still talking about it. So, that's definitely a fight that will always be there. And, I understand that. And, I'm not scared of nobody. So, but, I mean, at the same time, everyone's got to be real and understand that they're giving Max every chance, giving him opportunity after opportunity, spoiling him pretty good here. So if you're going to spoil him, give me that money, and then we could talk. You know what I mean? That's all it really comes down to. So, look, right now I've got to take it and worry about. That's all I'm focused on. Do I think Max will eventually happen? I think it will. But do I need to be paid? Yeah, I reckon we both should get paid. Pay good for that fight because I think that's going to be a big fight. That's a fight that everyone does want to see. But at the same time, let's remember, I'm 2-0 against the man, and no one gets spoiled like he does. But hey, Uncle Dana wants to spoil him with another opportunity. We'll see what happens. But again, the talking needs to happen. But I've got Ortega in front of me. That's all I'm focused on. Obviously, everyone's going to keep bringing up Max. I'm happy to answer it, but at the same time, Ortega's got my full focus.
That's right. I can't wait. We'll let you go in a second, but just quickly, Volko, speaking of focus, you don't have to focus too hard anymore on shaving your balls with that rusty razor. I remember all the countless times where I've nicked myself, and I'm sure you have as well. And then you got those little red patches on your underwear, and you got to put the toilet paper on there to stop all the bleeding. You don't want your balls looking like a 5-round war. Use Manscaped's Lawnmower 3.0 that has been beautifully designed and engineered with premium quality to stop yourself from cutting your balls anymore. With the skin-safe technology. It's got the 72,000 RPM motor. It's got the LED light. It's waterproof, so you can do it in the shower where it's the most safe, and it'll leave you looking, well, like a double champion, if anything else. And we've got the promo code submission. Use the code, get 20% off. They've got a lot of other things as well, like the nose trimmers, the ball deodorant, the ball colognes, all sorts of wipes. And they do present the show, and they also do sponsor the UFC. It is Submission Radio presented by Manscaped. So a lot of love for those guys supporting not only ourselves, but also the MMA community. Go get the Lawnmower 3.0 and have your balls looking amazing.
That's right, Cass. And also a big shout out to our friends at The Ridge. Did you guys know that they're approaching, or they're currently in their 8th anniversary? Just for a little bit of a background, The Ridge was launched on Kickstarter by father-son team Daniel and Paul Kane, and they're celebrating the 8th anniversary of the successful funding and launch of theridgewallet.com by giving you guys at least 15% off the whole store right now up to March 23rd. It's like Black Friday, but in March. So, guys, you can jump on there right now. You can use our code submission. So jump on there right now to get your 15% off. Go to ridge.com/submission and click on the banner to get that 15% off. You guys are going to love this wallet. As you can see, Casper's got his wallet out right now. It's one of the best things that we've got in our pocket. Be ready to go and get away from those crazy digital pickpocketers with the RFID blocking technology. I mean, these wallets, you can use them basically for anything. You want to break into a house, you want to stop a bullet, anything. These things are built tough, and these things are proven. A great sponsor. Cass, congratulations to these guys on their 8th anniversary.
I know.
That's ridge.com/submission. Man, 15% off. How crazy is that?
I was just going to say, I've had this wallet for years. Actually, when we met Volko for the first time, this was in my pocket. And for all the biggest UFC events over the years, it's in my front pocket. It's very small and allows me to get in, get out, pay, and then be out like a ninja.
It's very impressive as well. I notice anytime you pull that wallet out, people are always like, hey, where's that wallet from? That thing's pretty cool. And you guys can have one right now with free worldwide shipping and returns as well. So that's ridge.com/submission. Get that 15% off. But before we wrap up, Alex, I remember last time you mentioned about how weird it was fighting in front of no crowd. But you were fighting, at a weird time in the middle of the night or the morning, and you mentioned how it was sort of hard to turn on for the first part of that second Max Holloway fight. I'm just wondering, what are you sort of going to be bringing in to this fight? Because you'll still be sort of in a weird situation. It's going to be UFC Apex. It's going to be Vegas, which is a lot more a place that you're a lot more used to being and fighting at. But are there sort of places and things in place for you to get turned on and get riled up and get ready without that crowd?
You got to get turned on before the fight, Volko.
Well, exactly right. Well, that's something that I'm glad I experienced that. It was definitely different. It was definitely tough. I think a lot of fighters have experienced that like sort of no crowd shock. Like, you know what I mean? It was weird. A lot of people, it's funny you say that. A lot of people talk about, the first half of the fight. It took you a while to start kicking in. But to be honest, I don't feel like it kicked in the whole fight. It was just purely I forced everything in the later rounds. I knew I had to force it. It was a weird feeling that I've sort of talked to people about. I went in there like it was my reaction times, my my countering and all my reactions, you know what I mean, was just not there. It wouldn't happen. So I had to force everything. So I was waiting, waiting for maybe a counter punch, waiting for him to slip up and counter. But even if I seen it, my body just wouldn't do these things, and it's very, very hard to explain. This is what I feel like might have happened even with Zombie. That's why you see him slapping himself in the head, like, what's going on? You know what I mean? It's a weird feeling. I remember watching that fight and going, mate, I know that feeling. I go, you got to force it. You got to force everything in there. It was weird. It was such a weird feeling, and I don't want to feel that again. So I'm lucky I experienced that, where now I'm going to go, I'm going to approach the fight differently. Again, with crowds, you're pumped up, the adrenaline's pumping, you're trying to level yourself, and I do that so well. I'm so good at being in an arena full of people screaming, fighting for a world title. You know what I mean? You got the goats in front of you or whatever it is, so much pressure. But I'm so good at being like, nah, I'm chill. I'm good. And then I've got my reaction time because I still got that energy. I still got that reaction. My sharpness is still there, but I'm level. I'm clear at the same time. Where I was just well underdone. So underdone in the last one. Where now I experience it. Now I feel like I'm going to let the adrenaline rush. I let the adrenaline flow a little bit. Like, I'm going to make my own adrenaline in the backstage. I'm going to be dancing backstage. I'm going to pump myself up. I'm not going to try and keep myself so chill. You know what I mean? I'm going to pump myself up. Little things like that, rather than trying. All right, chill. Don't go too crazy here. I'm going to be like, I want to feel a bit of a buzz. I want to feel that, so I'm sharp. My body knows we better fight. You know what I mean? So I feel like, again, I'm glad I experienced that. And, that ain't going to happen again. And, the time played a factor. There was a couple of things as well, but you know what I mean? I'm not the type to make excuses. I ain't going to do a Paulo Costa and be a little bitch and make excuses. So that ain't me. But, you know what I mean? I didn't drink wine, if that's not where I'm going with that. But I mean, yeah, obviously, there was a couple of things that I felt like, and the timing, and then just no crowd. There was a lot of things that you're just like, fuck. I remember just going in the cage and telling the boys, like, hey, talk to me because I'm going to hear everything. I am so clear right now. I'll hear absolutely fucking everything you say, because it was a weird feeling, a very eerie, weird feeling. But again, now experienced it. We move on. We we're going to, again, that was take a positive out of a negative, you know what I mean? So even though I felt like that, I was like, all right, now I've experienced it. Now we know. Now we can use that. Yeah, now we can use that as an advantage for the next fight. So let's go.
I love it, man. I can't wait for this fight. UFC 260, not this weekend. Next weekend, Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega. What a highly anticipated fight. Make sure to follow the man on Twitter and Insta at Alex Volkanovski. And, of course, check out his cooking videos on his official YouTube channel now. You can also look into his camp as well with the Champ episodes and Cooking with Volk. I love it, man. Thank you so much for your time, Volko. You were talking about nicknames before. I think you earned a new one, Loose Volko on Submission Radio. So appreciate the time, man.
Loose Volko. I like it. There's plenty of Volks. But anyway, yeah, no worries, boys. Thank you.
I want to see a cake recipe on that channel of yours when you're done with the fight. No more healthy stuff.
Yeah.
A cake recipe. Mate, we'll do a quarantine episode after the fight, and we'll get some dirty burgers, get some cakes, we'll get it all happening.
Yes.
Awesome, I think we might even do a fight week episode. We might try something here, a bit of fun with the boys. We'll see.
We'll
Stay tuned for that. I'm telling you, this man can cook.